Advancing oneself is a very unique process and can be difficult to put into words. To me, it's a lot like muddy water. The more mud, the less you can see. And as I advance, it's as if the water begins to clear and allows me to see a bit more. Hi, I'm Krystal Blake, and welcome to Exiting the First Cognition. I want to thank you for listening today and subscribing to this channel. I also want to remind you that you are all welcome to contribute here as well. Not only in the comment threads, but present your own video. This channel was set up for subscribers to have a place to contribute insights and perspectives, no matter where you are in your walk. We all have experiences that can benefit others, and you may not realize the positive effect this may have. I have had a push to share a bit about my own cognitive advancement. I'll start with a little bit of background. Like many of you, I had been searching for truth. I was in and out of Christianity for many years, mostly out of fear of hell and the devil. I always had this nagging about the Bible and its validity, though. First of all, men wrote it, right? Secondly, these writings came many years after the fact. And with all these different versions, something had to be lost in translation. I mean, who the hell is King James anyway? I searched the subject and found the information confusing. At the time, I was still operating with the need for small bits of information and not interested enough and possibly a bit lazy to do the research. When my husband introduced me to the Sitchin materials, I really began to question my religion. This placed the small crack in my beliefs to begin to truly doubt and then eventually split it open completely to reveal the true deception. But that's a whole nother story. Sounds like a nice topic for the future. I had followed a few New Age teachings, but never could sit still enough to meditate to enlightenment. I even followed Oprah's channels and read the numerous authors she interviewed. Made me feel good, but I was always left without instruction on how to advance. It felt so mystical, which made me feel I wasn't capable of attaining it anyway. I tried affirmations and positive thoughts. Hell, I even became vegan. I then was given the operator's manual for the True Spirit Warrior. This made more sense to me than anything I had ever read. I began listening to all of the YouTube videos and read more books than I ever had before. Learning of first and second cognition and Soika advancement made so much sense. For the first time, I was being given tools for advancement, not sitting and meditating, going vegan, or chanting mantras while in down dog position. At the time, I was full of ego habits, insecurity, and fear. My head was so full of thought, it was difficult to even hear my Soika, if not impossible. I set my ego aside as taught in Demystifying the Mystical and began using self-talk to remove the deep programming and was amazed at the change. I had a long way ahead, but had a bit of mental clarity I had never experienced before. This allowed me to begin the deconstruction process. The water was beginning to clear. Months later, as I had been working on deconstructing, I came home one evening and realized my mind was blank. I actually had zero thoughts in my head. I didn't even want to think. Just sat in it to experience that feeling. I felt a bit numb, as though I had no feelings or emotions. This is not normally how I truly feel after a long day at work. Although I do not partake in the ego drama, I do have a bit of stress to overcome with traffic and meals to prepare and clean up, etc. This night was different, though. I knew that something had changed. It took several days just to be. I know that may sound wishy-washy, but that is the only way to describe. I had to just sit and let everything settle a bit. What I was experiencing was silencing the mind. I had heard all about this from an intellectual level, but the experience gave me the true feel of it. What had once been a constant stream of thoughts had become non-existent. During these later days, I was able to process material more thoroughly. My focus is much keener, although I can also sense other things at the same time. I now fully focus, but have my Soika feelers out to feel the tweaks as needed too. The sharpness I feel now is hard to explain. It's kind of like the old radios where the stations had to be tuned in with a knob. The younger subscribers may not have experience with this, but when you would tune from one station to the next along the bandwidth, you would hear great static. If you weren't tuned right on the station, it was a bit fuzzy. This is how my mind felt before, not quite tuned in perfectly on the station. It's just kind of fuzzy. Now I am tuned right on the dial to the station and I have no static. I hope this makes sense to you guys. It's hard to explain some of this I'm finding. My emotions are the other thing that changed. I've been working on the ego presence for some time now and had it pretty well under control. Once I used the technique taught in demystifying the mystical, my ego was kept away for the most part, but always looking for a way to take control again. I felt that I had detached, but now I know I had not fully detached. I only know this in hindsight, though. I realize that now I am seeing things and truly not giving a shit. I mean, like the driver on the freeway cutting me off didn't even faze me. The coworker who has gotten under my skin didn't even matter anymore. This is what detachment meant. I have the true knowing of it now. The weird part of this whole thing is how it happened. Here I was working so hard to silence the mind, and when I finally just focused on other things and allowed the process, it came. I quit worrying about it and knew it would happen when it happens. There's so much to learn and do in eroding our beliefs that I just worked on other areas. I had a full trust that this is how the path is to go. The water is continuing to clear. I have my Soika in the driver's seat and am allowing it to guide me. The thing is, it had been there all along. I just couldn't hear it. The methods and techniques that I have learned have advanced me forward as quickly as possible. And this is not an easy road. And there is actually no end to it. I've never given up though. As I shared in my last video, I was at that choice point where my Soika gave me the choice to walk away or get back at it. And I didn't give in. I have to tell you guys, you will learn patience at this. You have no choice. You will only advance as fast as you will. Give yourself time to adjust to these changes you feel. Trying to force this shit will do more harm than help. Trust me from experience. The ego wants to push, so do not allow it to have that control. As long as you stick with your process, you will advance. Ponder this deeply. Are you pushing too hard and trying to advance too quickly? Ask your Soika. Human thinking makes us feel we need to be further than we are. Are you working through the material and moving forward? If you are working through the material and moving forward, you are right where you are supposed to be. I want to truly thank you for listening, and I hope this information is helpful along your path. Please ask questions for clarification, and comments are welcome. Thank you again for subscribing to this channel, and keep up the good work on exiting the first cognition.